Hey, it's the aftermath.
It is
The
the aftermath.
aftermath.
Go! Woo! We're back,
What's up, Bucs fans? Happy Sunday. It's the Bucs Report, the aftermath. It is your boy AJ Turn Up. I got my co-host here, Coach Slick, the British guy who's always flying on standby. I hope y'all doing all right. It is a victory Sunday for us. Despite it being the preseason, I don't care. The Bucs came out looking good, 26-20, a good victory. But how you doing today, Slick?
I enjoyed the victory. I went out drinking with some friends. It was a leavers party for one of the ladies in my office. Had a great time, and they just kept on going and going. I'm like, I need to get out of here. I got a Bucs game to watch. Scrape in at the second half and get to watch the rest of it. So I watched the rest this morning when I woke up with a nice pint of coffee, pretty much, because it was a little bit of a hangover. There were daiquiris flowing, there was pina coladas being thrown, and a shit ton of Guinness. So all good times. But yeah. Good showing for us. Defensively, from the start, it was a little bit shaky, but we kind of dug our heels in. We didn't want to make a quarterback that was the best way of putting this without being mean. That lackluster.
Yes.
Looked that good.
Yeah.
But it's vanilla defense. I'm not stressing. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Hey. But we got to see a lot of different things. I am now really comfortable with Kyle Trask as our backup. I do not think if Baker can't bake, I believe Trask is not complete trash. I believe Trask can be on task.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Now I'm gonna bring it in the whole theme of the victory, and then we're gonna do umbrella. So this is an umbrella, but the theme of the victory is creativity. David Canales really did his thing, and shout out to
you and David, not Dave.
Yeah. Canales was a surgeon and I'll say also refreshing.
It felt surgical at times, especially with Trask when they had their moments for their touchdowns. It felt very smooth.
Yes, it was fluid, and I do love the fact that he took risk and he showed guts and intensity, something that we were lacking last season. And you can tell from the entire play of the offense, it was a different vibe. It was a sense of urgency. It was a sense of confidence also, and a sense of unity. Now, I want to go to Baker Mayfield because, first, like you said, we're going to back it up a little bit. Let's talk about that first drive with the defense. I'm telling Buck fans, go to my Twitter page. And as a matter of fact, you can also go to my podcast is about Buck and Time. I put that up yesterday. I told people in the chat on Twitter, Buck fans were freaking out. What the hell's going on? I said, first of all, it's preseason. Pump your brakes. They're not going to go all the way just yet. Just relax. I don't like to repeat the Aaron Rodgers shit. So, no, just chill out. Just chill. CHILL, chill. I told people, Levante's not in there. Antoine Winfield's not in there. Canton's not in there. So the main group of people are not there yet. Relax. This happens all the time. We know Bowles. Bowles has a mentality of, I want to fill you out. He does it. Does it piss me off? Does it annoy me? Absolutely. But
never want to give it a call.
Yes. And look, Slick, I wanted to show you this before. This is no cushion. No cushion coverage. I got a pillow for no cushion coverage. This is the shit that I'm talking about. And shout out to one of my buddies at Arlington Rooftop who made this for me because they know I can't stand that shit. Because if you look at it, that's what pisses us off. The entire first series, that is all Josh Johnson. Literally, the receiving core were running all over the damn place because it was just so much cushion. And what's up, Sean Smith? Shout out to you. But Slick has said this a lot. And I won't try to articulate it as much as he can because he says it so eloquently. I would just paraphrase because I've told people this. When you play too much cushion, that is 1,000 cuts. And also, it slowly bleeds the intensity of a defense out. And that's what was happening. It was so much confusion. The receivers were running all over the place. And that's why Josh Johnson, who, mind you, he played for the Bucs for a little bit. Shout out to that man, collecting the bag, being on so many teams.
Still getting the money.
He was picking us apart. But I told people, chill the hell out. And then when the Bucs on offense spazzed out the 3 now, I told you, relax, guys. It's going to be okay. Now, what happens? Baker Mayfield comes in there. And the first play, I told people, this is why Brady is not good. We don't need Brady anymore. The first play, it broke down. What does Baker do? He maneuvers and gets out the way and makes something out of nothing. That is very important. And I told people this. Because when the pockets collapsed with Brady collapsed. Not this guy. Baker was able to move around, maneuver, got a pass to Godwin, which I was like, how the hell he get that? And then that perfect pass to Godwin in the end zone. And also, the line played phenomenal on that drive. Did you see how long he had to throw that? Everybody was doing it. But I told you guys, and then I told you in my tweet, relax. Baker is the guy. He's the starter. He brings an element of doability that Brady could not do, which is going to be dangerous. And also, Mike Evans wasn't playing. What's going to happen when Evans, Palmer, Godwin, Otten are on the damn field? Oh, and shout out to Otten. I didn't know he could do jet sweeps. Shout out to Otten. So
yeah, that was a nice a little bit of a trundle bus.
Damn right. So Buck fans, the first series should make you feel comfortable about this offense. Hell, I'm having questions now where I'm like, well, shit. I got to see how the entire defense is when they get in first. But now I'm like, well, damn, could it be that the offense might carry this team for a while? Now, Slick, I know I just said a bunch, but give me your analysis of that first drive and of the offense, and then Travis.
Okay. Offensively, the first one was a little bit spurty, but like you said, there were smart decisions made. It wasn't the first drive wasn't poor. It was I couldn't like sit there and go, oh, we should have done this and we should have done that. We should have done this. I think it was just sometimes an offense stalls out. Like I don't care what anyone says. Every team, even with Tom Brady, even with whoever, even when Tom Brady played his best game when we played against the Miami Dolphins back in the day, a couple of years ago, and we fucking set them alight. And Tom Brady came out and said, "Oh man, I left so many fucking touchdowns on the field." Right? That's because you didn't take care of business all the time. In that drive, it was a good defensive drive. Like they played well on defense. We didn't do enough. It's not like we were just poor in general. It was a bad drive. It didn't work. So we take what we can from it. I like that Baker got his touchdown. I like that certain plays popped when they did. So Trey Palmer popping here, there. He popped a little bit on a kick return as well. He did miss a kick too, but it is what it is. That's why he's probably not the main guy, and they're just trying out to see what he looks like. Defensively, I was a little bit worried, but JTS with the sack and some pursuit. One thing I will say, this kid doesn't have quit. I'll give him that. I will 100%. This guy does not quit. He is 100%. I would say he's 100% on every play, and I like that about him. If he can just control his ass, and I mean that because your speed comes from your ass, from the top of your bum cheek to your thigh bone. When you're in your sprinting position, that is where all your power is. Everything is in there. If you can just control his ass, that guy can be stupidly dangerous. Like if I was him, I'm going with speed technicians who work on how to increase speed and change direction. Because if he can master how to control his speed, and I don't mean this, I'll go out on a limb and say he could be a top 15. He could be a 10 sack guy.
Yes.
Plus, if he can just manipulate his speed the way someone like Shaq Barrett does,
Yes.
it's just I think sometimes players have like a mindset when you know you're a fast player. What do you do? What do you rely on? You rely on your speed. Of course you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes he thinks he can breeze past people when he can't. But there's got to be a point in his and this is something about reading. In his eye recognition, there's got to be a point where he goes, I ain't got this. I need to dial it back. And that's when the guy goes, because you can read when someone's overcommitting. So this guy's really fucking committed. Boom, I've got it back. It sounds simple when I say it, and it's probably way harder to fucking do and teach and coach and put in. But if he can get that, I honestly believe this guy can be way bigger than we can think. A lot of people think he would.
Mm-hmm.
As the night wore on, the defense got better. The players got better in general for offense. We saw a bit more run.
Yes.
No, I saw Vince. I was gonna say Vince Vaughn. Deshaun Vaughn had a better game.
Yeah,
he looked the best I've seen him all preseason. I don't know if it was just because it was the Ravens or he was going up against twos and threes, but he looked better. Tucker looks good. There's some conundrums for this offense and defense to the staff to kind of figure out who they're going to keep and who they're not going to keep. Now, a couple of names have already kind of been earmarked as this guy staying.
Yeah.
No one's actually been said it's gone, but then Trask comes in. Now, his numbers aren't as pretty as last week because they're not. But there were times where he seemed surgical in precision himself, like he knew where to go, he knew what to do, and I like that. It made me very confident in having this guy as a backup. Like if Baker is a turnover machine, which is what a lot of people are saying, is you put your coin in and you're only going to get turnovers. Hey, if that happens, I feel comfortable in seeing what we're going to get. Now the interesting thing is, and I will say this to all the naysayers that did not like this quarterback competition reportedly being so long. What if we turn around and said Baker's our guy from day one and Kyle Trask was just dumb, slow, lethargic? I'm using negative words here. And then he does have to take over and he is dog shit.
Yep.
That's the difference. You believes. He believed it until he got called.
Mm-hmm.
In his own sense of his own imagination, and we all might say, I was pretty comfortable knowing who the quarterback was going to be, just because of the way the media was dressing up Baker Mayfield over Trask. That's who they want because he has a ticket draw. But
Yes.
believe you me, Bucs fans, if he can't deliver the goods, they will go to Trask. There's going to be a short leash on Baker unless he's making stupendous plays with some stupidity. Then there'll be and ahhing. But if he is just straight up bad, Trask will get his shot. So Trask fans, it's not over. It's not over. Not for a long shot. This quarterback competition is hard.
And look who is gracing us with our presence. It's that dude, y'all. What's good, dude?
Sorry to interrupt you, gentlemen, but I heard ass talk, and did you say something about shitting? Or hey, hey, real quick, shout out, totally off subject. Shout out AEW All In, selling out Wembley Stadium, over 80,000 people. Beautiful, beautiful show out for y'all, you fans that follow. Hey, and for you,
tickets were not fucking cheap too. I was considering going just to add a snootful. I'm like, in the nosebleeds? I don't want to watch wrestling in the nosebleeds, bro. I've been to Wembley Stadium. I've seen the Jags play there many a time, and it's okay for football to sit in the nosebleeds because you can still see the numbers on someone's back. But when it's such a small, confined space, can't see shit.
Bro, they were selling tickets behind the curtain and putting a TV out there for the people to watch. So come pay us money to come watch it on TV. But that's off subject. Hey, first of all, congratulations to the Buccaneers on their victory over the Ravens. That's 2 in a row losses for the Ravens in the preseason. I don't know why you guys would brag about that streak before, but since you did, we're going to brag that you're on a streak losing too. Shout out to Sean, Chris, and Eric. Hey, man, this is a show where you get to hear what the boys have to say. And if you got the gumption, come on and interact later. Although we prefer you keep fingers out of orifices while you're on the screen for censorship purposes. That way we can still, let the children, because like Wu-Tang, the aftermath of Bucs Report is for the children.
It's a learning curve.
I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this word, but what's the dude hot on today? What, as they would say on the interwebs, what am I warring today? Dude, war again, AEW. War Christian Izien. Undrafted free agent getting the starting nickel spot. Hey, we all love and respect Ryan Jensen. I know you guys will get to that later, but thoughts and prayers on a sincere note to him and his family and all that. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you live anywhere on this big blue marble that is Earth, you've probably been sweating your balls off lately. So what we're here doing tonight at the Aftermath is we got a guy who's so cool. His name is Slick. And we got a guy that's so turn up. His name is AJ Turnup. And they're gonna cool you down from your NFL high and get you prepared for the break before the season starts. We got cut day coming up. We've got, oh man, dude, we got cut after cut after cut. And if you listen to Todd Bowles, it's out there on Twitter. I ain't calling it X, go fuck yourself. On Twitter, that this is going to be one of the youngest Bucs teams we've ever seen. That means there's a lot of undrafted free agents that are going to make this, and late round picks that are going to make this 53-man roster. With that said, we are streaming live on YouTube. We are streaming live on Twitter. We are streaming live on Twitch for you one guy that watches us every week on there. But right now, you guys are checking out. So, Flick, you were in the middle of a thought process, and I don't want to interrupt your. We got feedback here. No. Okay. Well, I ate a bunch of edibles, so that might be what the problem is.
That might be it, bro.
I do want to say, though, to these gentlemen in the comment section, yes, Christopher, the dude does abide, and he loves everything about Christopher Cole. That's Christopher Stone Cole, just so you know. Shout out to them. And thanks for Sean Spencer. Hey, Sean, don't be shy, man. We'll send you a link. Slick likes you on that show.
Yeah.
So where were you guys at? You guys were breaking down.
No, Slick was breaking down the Bucs defense and all that, weren't you? You were just talking about the Bucs defense and Trask and the competition. You were talking about competition.
For sure. I mean, we saw a good bit of coverage here and there. We saw them really getting after the quarterback a fair bit. I mean, that quarterback was put on the ground a few times. His dick hit the dirt, so that's always nice to see. And it's nice to see at different levels because it means you want your stars to dominate, but if you've got guys in the backups, it means if someone does go down, you're not sweating too hard, right? Now, I know they're going up against other twos and they're going up against other threes, but it builds and builds and builds. It builds them up. So, as a whole part of it, I wish we could have pulled away a little bit nicer and made it look a little bit prettier, but a win's a win, and this is and that team is a good team. So it's not like we're going up against a team that's going to be projected to be the bottom. It's not like we're going to go against, let's be honest, the Texans
or the Titans or something like that. Yes, I agree. The Bucs actually out physical a team that is known for physicality.
Yeah.
So with that being said, the offense, I'm going to go back to the offense. I saw something that JT Olsen, you might be onto something. I saw Gedke out there balling. I saw Mock mauling. I saw Wirfs playing because he knows his worth. He's got to have a blank check if he continues to play at this level. I saw a line that was pushing that allowed Rachaad White to get yards where he shouldn't have gotten. That's another guy that is a lot of people are skeptical on. I told you guys this, especially on Twitter. Rachaad White is not going. He's going to be a problem. He's good. He's explosive. He's not like Fournette where when he doesn't hit the hole, he knows how to hit the hole and he just goes for it. He picks up what he can. He's also going to be good receiving. But the line, particularly in the first half, especially the first quarter, was sensational. They They allowed Trask to come in and pick up where Baker left off. Now, I do like the fact that Trask, I saw that when he was running, I like that. He was being he's getting more fluid like Baker. Now, my only issue with Trask that he does need to work on is his overthrowing and lobbing. He'll get that worked on. That is something that will take time, but yet he's gonna have to, especially when lobbing, because better defenses, that's interceptions all the time, or you can end up getting your receiver hurt and blown up if you leave it in the air too long. So he needs to do a little more zip, but I did like Trask and his improvements, and I do like the fact that he is able to throw in duress and is accurate. A lot of times when he was being rushed, he was still able to pinpoint where the guy was and zip it in there. I like that. I like what I saw. I see Trask getting more confident each game. And yes, the numbers weren't as big as last week, but the effectiveness was just as good. He was very effective. That touchdown pass.
He was perfect, to be honest. He had bigger plays in him.
Yes. And Palmer he did it last week, but the man is a solidified. That could be a potential steal of the draft, because I think all the other organizations were passing this man, because we knew he had speed, but we weren't aware that he was going to have the kind of hands that he has. That man's catching everything. He's catching in traffic. He's durable. Now, I got pissed when he was getting the punt returns. I was like, get him out. We don't need him hurt. Get him the hell out of there. But Palmer, the first three positions of the receiving core is solid. But I also give a shout out to Jarrett. He was doing a hell of a good job, making contested catches, working for it. Tompkins, Moore. The receiving core is A+.
You just renamed the Bucs receiving core just there.
The receiving core.
That's going to be starting. That's going to be starting. That's my projection. What you just said is the projection.
Yes.
Hey, can we throw out an observation from the game? And I usually watch the game, let's just say, somewhat inebriated, so I might have missed this in the past. When did we start running reverses to the tight end?
Oh, I talked about that earlier, dude. I was not expecting to see that.
That's what we wanted to see.
That's not a wrinkle, dude. That's like a whole new thing.
Yes.
That's not a wrinkle. That's a nutsack.
He was creative. And the biggest key that I want to say, a lot of things that Canales was doing was benefiting to the players' abilities. So he actually took the time to know what each of his players could do. He saw that Otten has enough speed to make that happen. Byron didn't. And that's why there's a difference between good coaches and shitty coaches and bad coaches. Byron was a shitty coach. We have to keep it where it is. He got to where he got because Arians was looking after him. We all know that one guy on the job where, oh man, you wouldn't be where you are if the manager above you wasn't cool with you and he's carrying you. Byron didn't do that shit. Byron literally said, this is my way, my role. And Canales is saying, what can we do to benefit our players? I told you, the great coaches, they know how to do things where it's their way, but it also benefits their players' abilities. Everybody out there was doing good. Look at how Godwin was used. We all know he can be he's versatile and everything, but the specific way they used him was sensational. Even with Trask with the play calling, so many bootlegs, and Slick, you already know, Buck fans, Slick has heard me say the word bootleg and roll out all fucking time since Baker got here. That's what makes offenses dangerous. You don't even have to have a great run game for it to be dangerous. It's just going to make defenders have to honor that, because now you have a mobile quarterback in Baker where if there isn't any separation from the receiver, fuck it, I'll take off. I'll take off on your ass. And then the next play, now the receivers will get separation because now they have to keep in mind, shit, he can run. We haven't even seen everybody, all the receiver core yet. I can't wait to Minnesota, but I want to go back. Now I want to talk on the defensive side because Slick was talking about how our second and third string was coming along and being heroes. Let's give a shout out to Will Golston. He was getting sacks. He was getting pressure. That is our guy. we have something that we did not have last season, and I hope we can stay healthy for that, is depth. Yes, the second and third string, everybody was balling. You could tell the Bucs wanted it more than the Ravens. Every time I looked over to Harbaugh, I saw frustration. I saw him looking at his players like, what's going on? Do you guys not want this? If you don't want this, then it is what it is. I love the fact that Harbaugh was not comfortable. What did he say? Yeah, Christopher, I think they were going to do it again in the third quarter with number 82, but they had a false start. Yeah, it was a lot of things, Chris. One thing I will say, the Buccaneers wanted this game. Every player wanted, because again, this is the last game. For some of these guys, it's the only shot that they will ever get. It's this, or now they got to apply for jobs somewhere. And I'm not going to knock anybody's job, McDonald, whatever. As long as you are employed in these times,
except now CFL and a lot of other stuff. But still, yeah, it's a fair point. It's that shot at the NFL about to come to an end. Some will have it, some like they'll have a second year. But I just wanted to go back to this one because this is the one that interested me the most. We still have to work on contain a mobile quarterback. Well, I will tell you, Christopher Cole, from someone from a defensive coordinator standpoint, when you play a lot of man coverage, you're going to give up mobile quarterbacks. And you're going to ask me why. It's very simple. For one reason only. AJ, do you know by any chance?
What about when you play man?
Why a man coverage team would struggle with?
Oh, absolutely. Because first things first, here's the thing: when you play man coverage, you have your number one priority is the receiver, the man in front of you.
So what are you looking at, AJ? What are you looking at?
You are looking at the receiver. You cannot look at the quarterback. Yep. And if you look at that quarterback and he doesn't run, your man is wide open, and that is what we call blown coverage, and you done fucked yourself. And now the coach is going to come back to you and say, what is your priority? Who is your priority? The guy in front of you. Fuck the quarterback. So, yes, Chris, Slick is telling you that's why it is so difficult. That's why a lot of people like playing zone or certain coverages so somebody can pick that up. But when you play man, it's balls to the walls. It's all or nothing. If your pass rush does not get to that quarterback, it's damn near hard to do that. It's hard. So you guys have to realize that's why a lot of people will argue with me and say, well, AJ, you can't play man all the time because then they will figure you out and that can tire your guys out. And one false sudden move and they're gassed, it's over. So Slick is on it, guys. He's a defensive-minded coach. And I've learned a lot from him as well because I get that now because it is hard. I've seen it in games where a guy wants to be the hero and say, well, I knew the quarterback was running, and then he doesn't. And that shit. And
what we want, it's what you want as an offense. And I always say to my DBs, when I coach my DBs up, it is the cliche of mistakes to make as a DB is you see the quarterback run. Oh, I'm going to tackle his ass. I'm going to tackle him for a fucking loss. I'm going to kick his fucking ass. You leave your coverage and
it's bad. And it's bad.
When you're focused in man coverage, you can't look at what the fucking quarterback is doing. So you have no idea until you have a moment where we've got a phrase that we're going to use next year, and it's called earning the right to look at the quarterback. So we're a zone team, but we're actually going to start our read this year on the dude. So you're looking at your man first, because one of the things we find is guys daydream when they look at fucking quarterbacks. And they think of picks, and they think how they're going to get the ball. And before they know it, their coverage is busted. Because this guy's going, I'm fucking accelerating, baby. I'm fucking going full speed, and you can't fucking see me because you're not looking at me. You're not giving me my respect. So it's like, earn the right to look at the quarterback. That's what we're going to do. So Christopher Cole, teams that your initial read as a traditionally on a man coverage team is the leveraged hip. Ideally, there'll be a fucking logo there. I always say to my DBs, burn a hole. You got Superman eye vision. Burn a fucking hole in his hip. You are not deviating from his fucking hip until he looks at the quarterback or he's moving to where he's turning, that kind of thing, right? So when you turn, you're going to look when you're going deep, it's usually when you're at the front, you'll see the guy turn his head. He'll go, oh, fuck, I'm going to get the ball. What I say is when your shoulders are in line with the guy that's next to you, you got a hand on his hip, the outside of your hand, just so it doesn't let you grab him. The back of your hand on his hip, and you are shoulders and shoulders. You can look at the quarterback all day because you can feel him move that way and you can feel him move that way. You just stay leveraged, look back, and if you can't, you're not leveraged. You're not in what I call in phase. Your shoulders aren't in, so you're kind of dragging back. You're like reaching out for him. You're playing his hands soon, and that Buccaneers are really good at fucking playing the hands.
Yes, they are.
They'll watch his kid's hands go up. You can't pull out a hand, you can't rip at a hand until the ball arrives. But I'm telling you right now, from the moment the ball appears to the moment the ball is in his hands, you can slap away at all that shit because the referee can't distinguish it. But what you can do is put your hands where his hands are. So if his hands are like this and you got a hand in the middle, guess where the ball goes? Your hand. So you get the incompletion.
Facts. And I want to add something to what Slick said about daydreaming. Bad players interpret, good players assess. Now, a lot of people are like, what's that? When you interpret, you're damn near assuming without going through your full analyzation. As you said, daydreaming. If a DB daydreams about what the quarterback's going to do, now you're not your main priority. That receiver is going to make a move and it's over because you didn't assess. Your assessment is that guy. If anything, when you assess, you're assessing your job. And if anything, if the coverage is blown, that's not your fault because you're doing your job guarding your man. The linebackers or the tackles of the DNs, they're responsible for not getting to the quarterback. Like shit, you guys did that. I'm guarding my man. Everybody has a job to do, and that is one thing that I saw on this defense, especially in the second and third quarter. Everybody knew their assignments. Everyone knew their job. Slick said it. The Ravens line, their starting line, if anybody in their starting line goes down, God help them because the second and third string couldn't do a damn thing against the Bucs, especially when every time the quarterbacks were out there, they were running from something. The defense was getting pushed. The guy, I saw Gaines or something. I forgot his name, but Gaines was doing it. Yeah, Gaines was doing good. Of course, Golston was taking over. JTS was doing his thing. Yeah, I saw a line being physical, pushing, maneuvering, making these guys go one way. And when they did get a decent run, it was because somebody on the Bucs was not doing their assignment and they cut in when they should have cut out, or vice versa. They chose the wrong gap. But overall, this Bucs defense, they're going to be a problem. I tell you this now. If Canty is just average for what I've seen against Minnesota, it's a fucking wrap. Levante, you already know he's not going to blow a coverage for the most part. You already know Winfield is not going to blow a coverage. So with what you just saw, can you imagine a Levante and a Antoine Winfield out there? Let's say if there is one blown coverage on one play, I bet you that shit won't happen again. Winfield or Levante and them will say, hey, let's get this right. You stay on your assignment, I'm gonna stay on mine. We got this. That defense was good, and I have to go back to again the coverage. We have to accept that Bowles, for the most part, is not going to change his ways about opening drives with a lot of cushion. It's frustrating, absolutely. Now, I hope he can mix it in a little bit, but one thing we all talked about, we want to see what the secondary is going to do because Carlton and Dean, I feel like they were a little rusty or a little,
I think that's my fear, man. Yeah. That's my fear. It's because they haven't been played as much. They're a little bit rusty. But to go off one thing that you did say that's got my defensive head clicking, and you said something that's like, we know he gives up that cushion coverage. One thing you get with cushion, what one thing would you say you get with cushion coverage that you wouldn't get with those? You get to see the whole route. He's playing checkers. He's not playing checkers.
He's playing chess.
He's playing the chess game because he's going to see the routes that you like to run.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you play your defensive backs lower, so at a 3 or a 4 or even press, you'll never get to see the real route because attacked the route in the sense of, so from a press point of view, that route's not authentic because he's had to get off the line of scrimmage and then run his route. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of get it, you can get a feel for it, but you don't know how it actually is. Mm-hmm. The one thing you will get from you call it, I'll be nice, we'll call it off.
Yes.
We'll call it off coverage. You get off coverage, you're going to see the true route because it's going to be run at its complete fullest. But I'm with you. I'm still a 6 guy. I'm a 5 to 6 guy. Yes. Always in my vibe.
Hey, speaking of off, we're going to go a little off topic here because I got a little bit of a surprise for you guys and a brand new feature. You ready?
I'm ready.
It's called Mail Call. And this is people who are going to mail us or send us questions to our inbox.
That's cool.
And then we're going to answer them. So I've got a couple for you.
Oh, wow.
So let's put up a little thing here. Mail call.
Mail call. Mail call.
Mail call. Mail call. Send us fucking mail. All right. This one is from Bobby207@gmail.com. This one is for AJ. AJ, who do you think is going to take the second RB1 spot? Who's the Buccaneers RB1? This is from Jason. No, I'm sorry. This is from Jason.
I can tell you this right now. It's more likely it would be Tucker. Why? Because Tucker is explosive. Tucker is explosive, and he knows how to maneuver. Go back to not this past game. Go back to the Jets game on the 3rd and 1. He was able to make the right cut and make that big yard when that defender had him dead to rights, had him where he needed to, but he was able to maneuver. So Tucker is very explosive, and he's a guy that knows how to lower his shoulders well. I would have said it would have been Keyshawn Vaughn, but Keyshawn Vaughn doesn't have the speed of Tucker, so it will be Tucker. It will be Tucker behind Rachaad White because they sort of mirror each other. Two guys that can run you and gas you out.
Poor man's version. I see that.
Yes. So
okay.
Thank you for that.
Hey, mail call. This one is from. Oh, this one came via Twitter. This is Bobby the Buck fan wants to know from Slick, and he actually called you Coach Slick. So that's picking up, man. They're starting to realize you might actually know something. He wants to know what you think about an undrafted free agent taking the starting nickel job, and is he going to be able to hold it all year?
I mean, I've been massively impressed with this kid, and I think he can play outside and inside. So that's what I've been. I'm not worried about it. Like that, the fact that he beat a guy who's had a bit more NFL experience. Some guys have just got talent and they know how to harness it. The one thing I would say with the NFL that a lot of people don't realize is sometimes it takes the right coach to get that greatness out of you. Maybe he just found the right coach that fits the right thing. And we don't know. We all talk schemes here. You've heard me talk a scheme here and a scheme there. Maybe his college scheme required him to a similar skill set. So it just allows him to be that player straight away or easier because he's already kind of done it in a more basic level. So I'm not surprised. I'm very pleased because this was one of the guys I was worried might get cut. I honestly was. But he just played himself into that spot. If he got cut, I would be shocked. But obviously, he's been named the starter. There's a reason for it. You guys are deep.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll piggyback off that a little bit before we get to the next question here. And that's Rondé Barber. Rondé Barber was almost cut by the Buccaneers in the first year, but then he attached and he linked up and he hooked up with that coach, Mike Tomlin, who saw his abilities, saw his skill set, and utilized it. Remember, Rondé Barber was like the size of the girl you take to the prom. He wasn't a very big guy, but Mike Tomlin saw that coming off the edge, he was as devastating as any pass rusher or edge rusher in the league at that time because he was so quick, not because he was fast. Anyway, that was kind of piggybacking off what you said. It's all about the coaching and matching the player's talent with a coach that knows how to utilize it. Now, next question. This is from huge Bucs fan. I'm a Buck for life @gmail.com. His name is Eddie, and he wants to know from AJ, do you think the Buccaneers made the right decision with Baker Mayfield as starter?
Absolutely. I just told you his duality will be such a major upgrade than we had last season. Now defenses cannot just overwhelm the offensive line. Can't do that anymore. It's not going to work because, unfortunately, with Brady, especially at the of his age now, if the system isn't perfect, then he won't be. If everybody isn't not in sync, let's not. We got to understand a lot of the plays were very basic, even during the Super Bowl run in the 2021 season. It's just that you just had too many weapons with Gronk, AB, Evans, Godwin. Everybody couldn't stop it. But now, if that doesn't, if it all and the line was healthy, but if you don't have a healthy line and you have guys who are new, that will affect you. So Baker is an improviser. Now, could he be a turnover machine? Yes, but after what I've saw this season, during the preseason, he's a cautious man. Plays that he would used to make, he's not making anymore. So that shows me that he is matured. And a guy like Baker, he knows. Baker sees everything just like everybody else, if not more. He knows this is the best damn team that he has ever been on. He knows this is his last shot to be a true franchise quarterback, to get the big payday as well. Maybe. He knows that. Baker's no fool. Baker knows if I fuck this up with this squad, we like Slick had said about Byron, owners and scouts are going to ask, you had Mike Evans, you had Chris Godwin, you had Otten. Your line is healthier. What happened, Baker? Why couldn't you get this done? How did Trask outplay you? You think Baker knows these things? Baker is, and again, Baker's personality, he has an ego. He knows that, hey, he doesn't want to be the next Johnny Manziel. He wants to, he's already been compared to that. So Baker, I think Baker is going to work his ass off. And you know where I can tell people I saw that change and spark was with the Rams. He knew at Carolina it was a shit show. That's why he was glad that they got rid of him. But if you see the intensity he had with the Rams and using the players that he had, I tell you what, he reminds me of Kurt Warner during his journey. Remember when Kurt was gone from the Rams and then he became sort of a journeyman? He wasn't really getting the respect in New York. And then he had to go to Arizona to reinvent himself again. Baker could be going through the same thing. I'm not saying Baker's on Kurt's level for people out there. I'm just saying the story is the narrative is the same. I have got to make a name for myself with all these weapons here. This is the final chance for me to be and actually be on a team that can go places. Yep, so that's why Baker's
absolutely. And if you guys are liking these questions, you can get in on this by sending your questions to any one of our social media inboxes. And by the way, we're on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Mastodon, Tribal, Spoutable, TikTok, and Facebook. Send us a message, ask a question, and we'll reach out to you. We got one more, and this is from Bucksfan472 on Twitter. He wants to know all three or everybody on screen. What will the Buccaneers record be this year?
I'll start first. Health. If they're healthy, like if there's no significant injuries with the starting, and because of the schedule and because of the weak ass NFC, 10 to 12 wins. There's only 3 teams that will legit. I feel like okay, those are legit L's. Philadelphia, Buffalo, San Fran. Those are my 3 L's. People want to talk about Detroit, but I got to see Detroit the first 5 games first. Then we'll talk. I will say they're a possible. Now with the Saints, because it's divisional, that's a possible. But guys, this defense is stacked. You've seen it all season. You've seen what the Bucs are gonna do with this offense. Hell, it might get to a point where we talk about shit. The offense is bailing out the defense.
You never know. I mean, it's gonna be a game.
They fuck around. If I'm gonna tell you this right now, there will be coach controversy if Canales gets this offense in the top 5. If they're top 5, if they're like number 4,
I think top 10. I mean, he gets him in the top 10. I don't know if it'll be coaching because I think no one's going to pick him up straight away. So I think you get another year with him. Mm-hmm. Let me see the iron strike hot twice, and then I can talk about it. Okay. But to just piggyback off what you said and what the question was, I will go not as happy as you. I will go 10 wins because I think that's realistic because it's still a team figuring stuff out at the beginning of the season. So there could be losses there, potentially in the division, because divisional games, we know divisional games, or you can have a Minnesota that's dog shit still beat the Green Bay Packers now and again. You can have a poor Chicago Bears team beat another team in their division. So when it comes down to divisional, I like to split them because it's the easiest thing to do unless I know a team's so poor. Like they're so poor, I don't even know what the fuck they're doing. Then I will give us the winning share. So I'm going to go 10. I'm going to go 10 wins is my prediction right now. I would say our floor is 7. I can't see us losing any more than 7. Winning any less than 7. We could just have a bad start, but I feel this team will be on an upward trend by around about mid to late October. That's my prediction.
Well, that leaves me. I'm going to be somewhere around Slick here. I'm going to say it's going to be a 10-win season if everything goes the right way, meaning no major injuries. Baker doesn't freak out and go Jameis Winston. Worst scenario, I still think it's an 8-win team, which is what they were last year with Tom Brady. But I'm going to go with a solid 10 and caveat, or at least disclaimer, based solely on what we saw against the Ravens, because that was the first time we actually had starters on the field. And I feel like I don't think they necessarily schemed for the Ravens. I think they just called plays against certain defensive fronts or situations. But what I saw, realized there was a point late in that game where the Buccaneers offense had no penalties, no plays for loss, no negative yardage. That hasn't happened, I don't think, ever, especially in Raymond James Stadium or the old Sombrero. So that said, guys, that was mail call, and we'll have more of that.
Awesome.
Like I said, reach out. You see a little banner there. It says send us questions on social media.
Please. That was cool.
And we'll get that taken care of. We got Fred Moore. Fred Moore's going 10-7. Fred Moore, welcome to the broadcast.
10 to 7, yeah. That's why I said 10 to 12. I say the minimum is 10 just because of the competition. In the division, I see the Saints the only one in our division being a super problem because they still know us very well and they have the pieces. I don't see anything with Atlanta special. The Panthers are still they're flipped because I wasn't super impressed on seeing Young. I was like, okay, like if anything, the first 2 preseason games, I was like, this is it. This is the guy that they've been drooling over. Okay. But we also got to look at the NFC. If any of these guys take a significant injury in the NFC, it's a wrap, especially with the quarterback situation. I tell you this, there's no receiving core in the NFC that can match the Bucs. Slick, think about the NFC, not AFC, but NFC.
I got you. The AFC, one of my friends is a Jets fan, and he thinks they're going to have a season. Dude, if you're in the NFC, 100%, you're going to have a season. Depending on which division you're in, but you will have a great season. Doesn't matter which one you put them in. Maybe not the AFC, the NFC West, because there's still like Seattle aren't bad if you go off what they did last year. There's good team. There's 3 good teams in there that are going to battle for supremacy.
Right.
But in the AFC, oh my lord! Unless you're in the AFC South, yeah, it's not a foregone conclusion. But the dude said something that really resonated with me, and that is about game planning. I think they did game plan, but here's my twist on that. We've been told, and just add this, Buccaneers fans. The defense wasn't quite so good. The offense wasn't quite so flashy. So the offense was flashy. The defense wasn't quite so flashy. Do you know who called the plays? It wasn't Todd Bowles. It was Casey Rogers. So I would imagine he let them do the game plan. You know, so he was like, I'm going to let you do your shit, and I'm going to let you do it, and I'm not going to add anything. I'll give you my cents worth, but I'm not going to change what you're going to do because that's going to stop the development of the coach. And that might have been the problem with somebody like certain offensive coordinator that a gentleman to my right has ousted for the fan, the originator of the Byron out movement is here. So,
Get
but
that
it's true.
motherfucker out of there.
I think Byron Leftwich, and this is my opinion, I know you probably will disagree with this, will probably be a solid NFL quarterbacks coach, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because I think he's better work with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Being one himself, been a high-end one at one point, I guess, in his career. He played playoff games, yeah. I think.
But you also got to look at this. This is I'm glad you bring that up, because when you look at his career, there's some guys you were only good when you had a cast, but then I want to see what you were like when you didn't have shit. Like the Brady's of the world. Brady got Edelman and Amendola and Deion Branch checks. Got Wes Welker checks. A guy like Byron, you had to have Fred Taylor. You had to have guys like that. You had to have guys to assist. There's a difference, and he might be, but the biggest thing that's in Byron's way is not his skills; it's his mental ego, his ego.
He believes that his way is the only way, and it's uncompromising. Which is odd, because he went for a coach who compromised in the Super Bowl season to kind of incorporate a lot of Bradyisms, right?
Yep.
And he went, no, we're going to do it the BA way.
That's what we call irony, folks. It's like, wait. The guy who's much better than you, he adjusted, but you don't adjust, because this isn't a Madden game. But it's like you don't even have the credentials throughout your career to show me that you know what the hell you're doing. Hell, Romo, at least he got to a playoff. But hey, Romo was better than Byron, and we see.
Oh no, Romo's really, in my opinion, I hate the fucking Cowboys, but Romo's a very underrated quarterback. Underrated for a starting level quarterback for his era. I would say he was a solid to very good quarterback.
He was. He just when
it came to shit.
But when it came to the big stage, he folds, and it happens.
He had for most of his career, really.
Hey, that 2007 season, Terrell Owens, he had a squad, a prime DeMarcus Ware.
He didn't have consistency with those.
Oh yeah, no. But that 2007 moment, he fucked that up. That team fucked that up, because it was Terrell Owens. It was Witten. You had. Their line was solid, and then and then on defense it was DeMarcus Ware. You had Newman. They had a team, and I cannot remember the other receiver. I think it was Glenn or something, but they had a squad. Romo and them just fumbled the bag. But that is just, there are a lot of players out there who do that, who can have good ass regular seasons, but then when it's time to put it to the next level, hey, what are you gonna do? Like you always say, Slick, you can't be a team that just relies on the run in the playoffs. That's a death sentence, because when you get to the playoffs, people are going to adjust to that. Okay, we're gonna load that fucking box and make your quarterback business. And
hey, if you play, and if you're a really good thrower of the ball, I'm gonna try and make you rely on your run game. Your whole goal as a defense, from a defense standpoint, is to take you out of what you don't like doing. There's a great phrase by the great Bobby Bowden, is if I can get you off your bread and butter, then I've got you. Because now you're doing shit you don't practice very often. Now you're doing shit you're not certain on. Because guess what? Those plays that you go for every single game that you have the high percentages on, they're the plays that you have the most success on. They're the plays that your players believe in. They're the plays that you've seen work in practice. When those plays are dead, you're now going to the back of your playbook that your players have not been consistent at. You've not had consistency with them. So you have no faith in them, but you're hoping something will fucking stick it. You are literally the chef going, here's some spaghetti. Here's some spaghetti. Here's some spaghetti. Which one sticks? And I've been in that situation as a coach myself, and it's beautiful, because you're like, you guys, they can't do what they need to do against us, because they are throwing every formation, everything at us, and it's like, literally every play was a different formation. Every play was, and they made so many mistakes because when you start playing with formations and you start playing with this, you end up making more mistakes. So they ended up being offside. They ended up jumping. They ended up doing this, and it was illegal shifts. Too many men on the field. It was beautiful for us.
Yep, overcompensating. Yep. Okay.
Because you're trying to find something, right? That's what you're doing.
Absolutely. And I see we got a guest in here. We can bring him in because now I want us to talk about the Jensen situation because that actually is a lot deeper. I didn't realize it's in the Buccaneer fan base. Slick, we got a lot of people that are actually pissed off at the Bucs. But
we'll get into that because I got a few nuggets. But let's bring our boy, friend of the show, Mr. Eric Monroe. God, I keep rhyming. I'm on a roll today. Eric, how are you doing? Eric?
What's going on, guys? So it looks like I saw Brady's last game. We probably saw Jensen's last game. I mean, he said if he get surgery, it would have made it. I don't know. It's just. I mean, Hainsey was rated as the 12th best center last year, so he gets more experience. He's not. Jensen is a bigger. I mean, Hainsey, I think, can get better, by only experience. So, but Jensen's going to be there, to help, the young guys, Cody Mock and the other left guard, Matt Filer. I guess he already won the job, but Stinney's a good guard. So if he goes down, Stinney led us to the Super Bowl. When Kappa got hurt. So
yes. No, and I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people, I know one of my buddies who's a Buc fan, he said that's why he's pissed off at this team still from last year because he said if they could have saw the future, he said Jensen shouldn't even have played in that playoff game against the Cowboys because of how shitty the organization was at that point. And we have a lot of people, Slick, that are mad at that. They're saying, wait a minute, Jensen shouldn't even have played. He should have just sat out the entire remainder of the season, and he might have been better. Regardless, it's a tragedy.
Injured in preseason, though?
Minicamp. Second day of minicamp.
Landed on his knee because someone pass rushed too fucking hard and put him on his ass.
Yep.
I remember because we broke that news. I remember seeing the video live. Fuck all to do with Cowboys.
Yeah, I think, but a lot of Bucs fans are just still mad at that because I think they're still stuck on the fact of, hey, it was a slap in the face because, we didn't even do anything. We didn't even put up a real valiant effort. So I think people are still stuck in
that. That's hindsight. Hindsight's a beautiful thing when you can sit there going, oh, we should have done this and we should have done that and we should have done. Guess what? You can't build a business off that. You can't build a life off that.
Nope.
So here's my take on this. I'll level with everything on this. It was an undisclosed knee injury. That's a fact. We don't know what the knee injury was. And I'm willing to say it required so much surgical work, and I'm talking knee replacement level, which you should not have. Yeah. That's why it was undisclosed.
ACL, something fractured kneecap, PCL, meniscus, basically, yeah, wow.
So he basically needed a new knee.
I don't know this. This is a theory, all right? But it was undisclosed, and this is my vibe. This is my feeling for it. Undisclosed knee injury. They don't want to disclose it because that's going to send alarm bells through the entire franchise. But, so if he gets surgery, it's critical surgery. It's like fucking knee replacement level, which you don't want to have in your early 30s, which is where he's at. You want to have that in your 50s. You certainly don't want to be playing fucking sports on a knee replacement. You just don't. So, they decide to go down the route of, okay, we think we can rehab this. It is possible to rehab off this. So they go down the rehab route, and it doesn't work out because it wasn't as good as one. Now, I will go to the facts because that's my hypothesis. Doesn't mean it's right. Let me level. Every NFL player, when they get their team doctor to look at whatever injury. So you're Ryan Jensen, you have your bad knee, right? They do their evaluation. They look at the scans. They look at everything. They say, right, we think you can rehab it. Okay, cool. I don't think I can rehab it. I'm going to get every player. This is fact. I've heard Levante David say this out of his own mouth. Has a second opinion. This is their personal doctor, not the team doctor. Personal doctor who's only got their own best interests at heart. This is just to see if both opinions marry up. Because guess what? Team doctors, guess who they work for?
They work for the organization. So they're
exactly. Who are they more biased towards?
Their employer, the people who are signing their checks.
Absolutely. They may have taken that Hippocratic oath, but they're going to the guy who plays the checks, right?
Yep.
So you go to your second opinion. Your second opinion goes, dude, you need fucking surgery. You go and get this. They then have to make a decision. They got two hands, and they're like, okay, I got no surgery. The team will always pick up the bill. They have to. It's in their amendments of like what they're supposed to do for their players. You don't have to go. You can fight it as much as you can, but that will come down to court and all that crap. Players will always wait. Health is always first. Players will always wait. Now, there have been times where, like, Levante David said it never happened to him. He relied on his second opinion once or twice, though. Like, Buccaneer said he didn't need to get surgery. He had surgery because his second opinion said he needed surgery. The Buccaneers front office honored it. But I believe it was the Washington Commanders or the Skins or whatever they were called back in the time, the Redskins, what they were called at the back of the time, they had players going into surgery and they were like, we're not paying for this. We're not paying for this because our doctor says you can rehab it. And their second opinion said, no, you need to go and get shit done. You need to get this shit fixed because that's going to stop your playing career. You'll play today. You'll play next week. You'll play the week after. But the longevity of this, you might shorten your career. So what I'm trying to say is Ryan Jensen would have had his opinions from both. Now, let's say for the sake of argument, and this is realistic, if it's an undisclosed injury and it's where I'm kind of vibing from, I'm guessing that they both went, you have an opportunity to rehab it first, then we can go down the surgery if it does not work out. But we think you can rehab this. He goes down the rehab route and it doesn't work. That's just a decision. We don't know what was said to him because we're not in those things. That's a private, that's intimate of his time and his health that we should not need to know about. Like, we'd love to know, but we shouldn't need to know. Yes. He got told information from his team doctor, potentially a second opinion. We don't know if he did. He might not have gone down that route. That they said the best thing he can do at that point in time is rehab. It could have been a misdiagnosis. How often does a misdiagnosis happen?
Plenty of times.
Plenty of time. But they've had the best people on his knee. So they thought there was a chance. And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say you can't look at this and go, oh, he should have got surgery. That surgery could have been really invasive. That surgery could have given him other problems. You don't know. It's people just trying to speculate. Oh, well, if you get the surgery, you're fixed. Surgery isn't just a fucking magic marker. It doesn't work that way. No. You know, it doesn't just erase shit. It can ultimately make other problems come up. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to dick around in your knee, and what's going to end up happening is we're going to damage this, damage that just by doing the surgery. And he's like, okay, well, what do you think? And he was like, just try and rehab it first. Just rehab it first. If it doesn't, we'll go down that route. And the Buccaneers were probably on point with it.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that Ben said, now, Ben, I hear you. From a team standpoint, not only Jensen not playing will be missing, but his nastiness from an emotional standpoint is going to be missed, especially when you have a young line right now. Yes, that's going to take a major that could take a major dip but he did come out and say that he's willing to help these guys, even if he's not on the field. And that is still going to be a big impact to these guys because he can give them the fundamental things to help them. So I like that he's willing to do that. And these guys on the line, they're hungry. So the nastiness will be missed. But I don't know. I think mocking them after seeing this game against the Ravens, they might have a sense of hunger. That hunger might be able to create nastiness because, again, everyone knows the Ravens are one of the well-known, prestigious teams of physical nastiness. You got your Ravens, your Steelers. Those two people, when you think of their defense, is nasty. The Patriots offense went at them. They said, give us what you got first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I don't care who it is. We're going to knock you out first. So, Ben, I think Mock and Hainsey's fine. Eric just mentioned earlier, the guy is like in the middle, not bad, not good, just right, but experience can get him better. And with this line, man, we have so many. I see a lot more upside after the Ravens. Now, of course, it's a whole different story when you're playing a full starting line, but this still gives you a good insight that the Bucs have fire behind it, because last season, let's be real, guys, we didn't see that shit at all, especially in the run game. These guys, defense just had their way with us in the run game. So I see
absolutely.
Eric, how about you? What is your full thing on this, on Jensen again? After hearing Slick give you some good.
When I heard he was playing, when I was at the game, I was like, man, I'm like, I don't know how his knee's gonna hold up. He said he shouldn't really have played, but it meant the world to him to play. I don't think it did any, it didn't hurt him worse. So, but it still meant the world to him.
Of course, and he's going to be sorely missed. Again, Jensen, I said it in my podcast. We love you, Jensen. Like, you did a hell of a job no matter what you do. Everybody knows that, you can hold your head up in Tampa because you were a beloved figure. You helped get a championship. You were there during the Winston time. And you fought for any quarterback. So we appreciate you. And
hey, AJ,
like I said, all that other shit is what it is. Like you said, it's hindsight. We can say that now because I was telling somebody this. I said, well, wait a minute. You could have said the same thing when Vita Vea came back during the playoffs. Wait, what if it's too soon? But it helped and it worked. That's what they were thinking that Jensen was going to do with the Cowboys in the playoffs, make that push and we win. But of course, as we see in hindsight, it didn't work. But that happens. Shit happens. But I want to go to this. I want to ask all of you this. Give me your three guys on offense and defense that you were like, okay, this guy's going to make an immediate start. This guy has the potential. And then this guy, he's going to be a hell of a person rotating. Eric, you start with the offense. Three.
Guy that went undrafted, Sean Tucker. I think he'll be a good number 2 behind Rashad White. Kind of reminds me of like a Nick Chubb guy, I think he can. We got him still. I mean, they were saying he was going to be like what, a 4th or 5th round pick, but his heart condition, maybe some teams passed on him. They were kind of, scared or nervous to draft him. Let's see, Raheem Jarrett and Trey Palmer.
Those are good. What about defense?
Yaya Dibby.
I just say Yaya, man. Diaby, I think.
Kalijah Cansey. I don't know if I heard Bull said today him and Servaca Dennis might be. They're hopeful they can be ready for the opener. I guess let's see. The undrafted nickel, the new nickel, Chris Izien. I think he'll be all right.
I can dig it. What about you, Slick? I'll go last on this one.
Okay, so you want what? An emerging guy, an intermediate guy, a stud.
Yep.
Okay. Offensively, the stud has to be Rashad White. It has to be because we know this passing attack is good. We know it because it's always been good. Like historically, from the moment the Buccaneers have changed almost identities from being a defensive team to being like a pass happy. We got 2 studs in wide receivers, right? We got two number ones is the argument. So I want the run game is what's going to help us solidify that. Like, as much as the running back position has gone down, you still need it to complement your offense, especially for a quarterback that's learning a system and getting used to a system. I'd say the intermediate guy on offense is Trey Palmer. Trey Palmer is kind of been given some concrete boots, so to speak. He's got to swing. He's got to either sink or swim. I'm sure we will not rip him apart if he doesn't come along as quickly as we want, but he is in that third spot right now.
Yes. He
has to perform at the level that we've seen so far, and it needs to continue. And I believe that can happen. I really do. As for the final guy, I think someone like Sean Tucker, he has really kind of taken it upon himself. Kenyon Geiger has done a pretty decent job. I'm not worried about Devin Tompkins. I think he's more in a different camp of trying to get into he's not trying to get into the team. I think he is in the team. But someone like Jarrett as well, those are the three guys that I would say are battling to try and get into the latter end of that thing. But I think Sean Tucker, I don't know if he'll be the second. I definitely think he might be the third. Just because he's so raw. You don't always we all talked really good stuff about Rachaad White. He was the second, and it took him time to establish being the number one cat. So, and even then, I don't think he was really 100% assured the job until the season was over and he was fighting for his roster spot this year. So I look at it and I think Sean Tucker, he's that guy that's going to kind of creep in. He's going to either take the third or the fourth spot and he will get in. The one that's interesting that no one's mentioned yet, and I don't know if AJ will, because AJ loves this guy, Payne Durham. I haven't heard a lot about him, but when his name has been spoken, it's only been spoken in glowing terms. But David Wiles also is one of those guys that could be that guy that creeps in too. So I'm interested to see where it goes. From a defensive standpoint, I'm really pleased where we're going with the nickel. But there was a gentleman, I can't remember, Isaac someone, I can't remember his last name.
Yeah.
I think it might be Keenan Isaac. Sorry. The corner. I really like him because number 16. Because I remember
sixth round, he was like a 6th or 7th round draft pick.
Yeah, that's the one. And Rondé Barber was constantly talking about like how weird it was that he was wearing the number 16. But he's just been making plays throughout the preseason. So I do hope the Buccaneers retain him. From an intermediate standpoint, I think right now, the way that JTS played in the last game, I do think they'll start with JTS and they'll bring a Yaya Diaby in to let him kind of like feast, so to speak. And it'll be like, okay, between you two, well, you're going to decide who's going to step up and be the starter. That's what I think it's going to come down to. The guy that is the cat that needs to show it all, it's Devin White. Devin White needs to show that he can be the man and he can take over from Levante if Levante decides to retire, because that is very much in play. As much as people don't want it to be, Levante David can retire. If he's not feeling it, and this is a shit year, we will have a shitty year, I would not be surprised if, unless someone kind of just gave him stupid money to go and play for a really good team, I see him retiring. I don't see him going to a middling team that could make the playoffs to be paid good money or very good money. I see him going to a team that could be a championship level team that's knocking on the frickin' door for okay money, just to kind of like finish off his career with a tick. But if we have a good season here and he believes it, he could be back next year. But Devin White needs to show that he can pick it up, because we don't want to be spending there was a show the other day talking about how we should, what we're going to prioritize in the draft. I'm like, that's yet to be seen. We don't know. Do we need a call? We don't know. Honestly, right now, I don't know. We are in Schrodinger's team. Schrodinger's team is it good? Is it shit? What do we need? We don't know. Until we see it. Who's leaving? Who's left? We don't know. Until we know that, I'm not talking about it. AJ, take it away, my brother.
Nah, those both of you have made some solid ass people. Some of y'all took them, but the stud already on offense is worse. I'm impressed. I couldn't believe the shit. I am impressed, and the reason why I'm happy, I am relaxed now, because that left side is solidified, which means defenses are not going to fuck with that side as much as the right. So with that being said, now we have an idea of, hey, if they try to rush that right side, bootleg to the left and make it happen there. But also it shows his duality, and I like that. So that's the stud. I was very because if he didn't play well, that would be a cause for the pause, because now you're gonna have to decide, well, shit, if he's not doing so well here, we need to move him back to the right side where he's comfortable, and that can mess the whole line situation up again. So the simple fact that he was out here doing his thing, I was happy about that. My intermediate guy is actually Trask. I like the potential that I saw in Trask. First of all, I was going to be a little biased at first because I'm a Gator fan, but with all bias,
yes, sir. Beat Utah, baby. I thought the game was this past Thursday, and I'm like, oh man, it's this coming Thursday. I don't know if I'll probably catch it. Hopefully we beat them, but
yeah.
Anyways,
so yeah, but Trask.
My bad.
No, you're fine. I hear you. Go Gators. Chomp all fucking day. But yes, Trask showed me that he has the potential to be a starter just in case. He was confident, and we've already talked about this, but competition breeds champions if you do it the right way. Now, the guy that I want to, who I think that can be good in the rotation, honestly, is Wells. You brung Wells up. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep 3 tight ends. I liked Wells, actually. He's another one that's a sneaker.
I got AJ. Who you dropping? Who your tight ends?
If they might keep 3. They might.
They might keep 3, so who are you 3? I mean, we know Otton's one of them, and we just know that you just mentioned
Payne and Wells.
Yeah.
Payne Durham.
Yeah.
Nah, you're not going to lose. Nah, O'Keefe's going to make that team, I'm telling you.
That's true. So if
he's more of a block. I mean, he can catch though. He can catch.
But Wells, if we can't keep Wells, we'll say this: you'll be in the practice squad at least. Something he's got to be around. So that will be the safe spot now, because I do like him. But you're right. I forgot O'Keefe is a tight end. He's solid. He's not going anywhere. He does what he gets the shit done. So you're right. Now, if we're gonna go on the defensive side, my stud that I will say, this is a tough one. Not a tough one, but actually JTS was my stud. The reason why is because I saw determination this time, but also I saw something that I really haven't seen him do a little bit. He was actually maneuvering. At least he knows how to maneuver this time and not just run around all over the place. He was actually going inside this time instead of going to the outside all the damn time. My intermediate guy is Golston. He gets the job done. He's Mr. Reliable. I loved it. I love the fact that he was getting shit done. And I don't care if it was against the second or third string. You know he's going to be there. Now, for my guy that I need to really make some noise, is Carlton Davis. I need Carlton Davis to shake that rust off. I need Carlton Davis to be that guy. I need Carlton Davis to take it to the next level. He's going to have to, because it's imperative. Because when he faces these number one receivers, he's got to be able to sometimes do it by himself. Because if he can do it by himself, that will leave us an extra guy in coverage, or we can put somebody down to blitz to get the quarterback rattled, because we know Bowles like to blitz. So Carlton Davis, I need you to be that guy. I need you to.
On the defensive side, AJ?
That was my defensive side. All 3, JTS, Golston, and Carlton Davis.
Awesome, man.
Those are my 3.
Eric, thank you for coming on the show. I much appreciate your time, brother. Anytime you can stop by. Cheers, bro.
Hey, guys.
Take it easy. And
go Bucs.
Go Bucs. Always. Go Bucs. I want to ask,
you want to get off your chest, AJ? What you feeling?
No,
what's your vibe?
I wanted to ask, I'm glad you asked that, because I was going to ask you my last question before we can close this bad boy down. After this, if you had to give a letter, give me 2 things: your letter grade for the for the game itself, and then a number of 1 to 10. How are you feeling for this Bucs team to go against Minnesota? You can start any way you want.
Okay. I mean, let grade for this team. We don't do well in the preseason since I've ever been a Bucs fan. We're not a preseason team. We never really have been.
No.
I think my biggest takeaway that I didn't like was I wish we got more points out of it. Because there are teams out there putting 40 out, but it does. And the realistic answer there is these are tic-tac points.
Mm-hmm.
There's no calories in them. There's no meat on those bones. So who gives a shit? I've seen the Buccaneers go all the way down the field and they could probably still run a play, but because time's running out, they let the time run out and they still kick the kick just to see if the kicker can make the kick, because that to them is more important. So we know that. I had a really good conversation once with I'm a rugby fan, and I met the head coach after a game, and I was like, "Oh, you lost," and they played against my local team, and I support the other. I'm a big fan of my local team, but this other team I've always known of, and I've been a bit of a fan of as well. They played, and I was like, "Coach, it's got to suck to lose." He went, "There's no points on offer. There's nothing here.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see how my players did. I got a great account from some, and I got some bad accounts of others. Now I know who I can put as my starting lineup out for next week." That's literally what he said. And he was like, I was like, shit. And that was me thinking there was value in winning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it adds to euphoric. You're like, oh yeah, we're on a train. We can pump it a bit more. And yeah, I think when you've got a young team, you need that preseason win, which is probably really beneficial for this young Buccaneers team right now.
Yeah.
We were considered to have one of the oldest teams in football. I was like, nah, you take Gronk and you take Tom Brady out of that team is young as shit.
Yes.
It's so fucking young, it's insane. It's just being propped up by a fucking 45-year-old fucking quarterback.
Yeah, and a 34-year-old tight end.
Right. Exactly. So I was like, nah. This team's actually younger than you think.
Yeah.
So as soon as he goes away, all of a sudden we probably have the base value of being one of the younger teams in football. So that's good to go into the season with a preseason win. Now, preseason wins don't count for much, but they mean something to the younger players because it gets that train roll, it gets that movement, it gets, okay, we see where you're going, coach. We see where we want this to build. It's that belief. And it's like the Buccaneers will find, I think, over the course of the season that especially these younger players, and this is where the veterans are going to dig their fucking heels in and be leaders, is when there's gonna be a game where the Buccaneers don't play so well, and they might lose astronomically. Like they might lose by 20, like a blowout. And it's going to be those leaders that have to push those players into believing this season's not done. Like this is nothing. Losing by 20 in a fucking NFL game is not like losing by 20 in college. Like in college, you feel like your whole world has been opened up and you're a shit team because one team like fucked you. That can completely derail you, right?
Right.
In the NFL, you can flip it straight back and be that team again. And there are college teams that can do that too. But so I think my letter grade for the team, I'm going to give a solid B+. I don't think it was A because we weren't clinical enough. I think we weren't dangerous in the right areas, and I think the starting defense looked rusty. I'm hoping that cleans up 2 weeks to get it right. Could players be holding back? You gotta remember it's preseason. Stars probably don't put their hearts into it. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to put your heart into a game that means absolutely fuck all, and you've been conditioned to believe that it means fuck all. So at the end of the day, it's the players who are in the starting lot are trying to prove their name that are going to be the ones that want to shine. So like a Baker Mayfield, like a Rashad White, like some of those offensive linemen, but the receivers and the tight end core, probably not, because that's what it is. They've been here before. They've got the T-shirt. Their mom ironed it, and someone else fucking wore it. It's just what it is. But going into the next game in Minnesota, we at Minnesota.
I think so. Yes, I think we are at Minnesota.
I've grown to like their quarterback through the documentary. The quarterback, I really do. I think he's he's kind of a kooky, cool dude. Just because he's very, I wouldn't say manly, very fatherly, like as in how he is as a human being, which makes him very likable and approachable for me, being a father myself. But we're gonna kick his ass. We're gonna kick his fucking ass. Like,
I love how you said that.
This is gonna be a game that he will have fucking nightmares for. Yeah. I hope. They don't have a run game anymore because they just sold their run game. And yeah, you can devalue it, but once you get rid of your prized possession of your run game, which is a good big part of your offense, yeah, he gets injured for sure. You cannot rely on Dalvin Cook. However, when you could rely on him, you did. Good.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You relied on him, and he did you good. And he so with him gone completely, now you're in a situation where we're in, and guess what? We're good at least dominating your run game. Your quarterback is going to have to be on his P's and Q's, and he's going to have to be very, very fucking good to beat us because you can't rely on that run game. That run game is going to get stuffed, and that D-line is looking to eat you alive. And guess what? He's not a running quarterback. He may make the odd play here and there, but he ain't not building a career off no shit. Mm-mm. And just to finish off with the running quarterback thing, what would you rather? Team that can shut down the pass or a team that struggles a little bit with the running quarterback? You can't live your entire offense from a running quarterback. You can't. Nope. This isn't college. Someone's going to twat him one fucking really hard. So I use the Englishisms. Twat means to fucking thump somebody.
Yeah.
So someone's going to twat his ass, and then they'll think twice about it. All it takes is a Vontae David or a Devin White to go, no, I ain't doing that again.
Yep. That hurt. It's too late. You don't believe me? Ask the RG3s. When he got hit against that Falcons person, changed the entire dynamic of his career. You're right. You can't.
And I'm not fucking sad, man, because he was on an upward curve at that point.
Exactly. And that's why we always say for certain running, if you just stick straightly to running, that's going to be a problem because now you're not playing quarterback. You're being a damn running back, but you're not even
one-dimensional.
Yes, and you're not even built. A lot of these guys, we love the Lamar Jacksons and the RG3s of the world, but they're not built to take a lot of punishment like a running back. A running back is typically usually like me, yoked and solid, and they're built to absorb blows. But if your quarterback is if you got a quarterback 6'3", 171 pounds, if that, you don't want no fucking 240-pound linebacker that runs a 4.5 coming at him at full speed, and it's over. But I'm glad you said that. Same here. Overall, B+ regular during the season. I saw up tempo, so I'm happy about that. I'm gonna go confidence level at 8. I said 8. Everything you just said, more than that, I'm going to go on the offensive side. Who are they going to guard? Mike Evans, an emerging Palmer, reliable Godwin, sneaky, scary
game.
What's up?
Palmer might be the key to this game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
think he's going to be completely under the radar until he starts getting his, and then all of a sudden, and this is what the Buccaneers need to take advantage of. K-Dot and 2, because K-Dot's still technically under the radar. You use those two guys, you let Mike Evans fucking eat to begin. Let him fucking eat, and then all of a sudden they're going to, we need to stop this fucking Mike Evans going to 13's pissing us off, man. Let's fucking put everything on him. And I was like, okay, we'll go with these guys.
Right, and the short bootlegs. I'm gonna kill you with because, like you said, I'm gonna feed Evans early to where they go. Shit. Okay, I know how we said we wasn't gonna be worried about Evans like that, but damn it, your safety and corner, your duty is him, and that's when Canales and Gene go, oh, good. So Baker, like that shit, Otten, straight up, and Palmer, you got that 4.33 speed, right? Yes, sir.
But he can move though. He can move. I'm not going to just straight up speed. That guy does all sorts of shit.
Yeah, but I would do the straight up just a bucket because then I got Otten, like you said, an under route guy or somebody else. You got Godwin out there. Now it's shit. We forgot those guys can move too. And they're so scared of Evans and Palmer's speed because I'm going to tell you, there's going to be one play where I feel like if it's not against Minnesota, it's going to be against somebody within the first 4 games of the season. They forget Palmer runs a 4.33, and if he does an all out, they're going to put the wrong nickel or wrong corner on him, and it's over. He's gonna burn. He already torched Gardner, and everybody thought Saucy Gardner was that guy. You let a 6th round get past you, and he had nothing. He just like, I thought this and I thought that on HBO Hard Knocks. And they was like, nah, what happened? Well, I thought I saw one thing here. Now you got your ass burned. That's what happened. You thought
you are toast.
You got toast, and you thought it was, and he turned your ass into sauce. But so an 8. An 8, I think. I'm with
you on the 8. I'm with you on the 8. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, I got them winning by at least 13. I say that because
I'm not even gonna I go 10, but
I say 13 because, as you said, Kirk Cousins, the more that he has to pass under, when he doesn't pass for, just to keep when he has to keep coming from behind and no run game to support him, he's not the kind of guy. He's not a true gunslinger. He'll throw it around, but he's not going to be able to withstand all, especially if Kancey plays. And Kancey can be average that game, but and with Vita, it's a nightmare. So that's why I say the Bucs can do a lot, and especially if the Bucs jump on an early 10-0 lead. If they, because Bowles, then his defense will lock down on that, then, because Bowles is the kind of guy where shit, I don't care if we win 10-3, but it's gonna get to a point where Kirk Cousins, if he forces the Justin Jefferson, because I think we'll double Justin just to make him go, nah, we want to see somebody else because Thielen is gone. Who is going to be your next guy to bail out Justin? And they don't have
that
yet. So
no, I don't know.
That's my whole thing. But you got any other things, or I'm gonna wrap this bad boy up?
We'll wrap this bad boy up in a minute, but I just wanted to go with it. So, what does twat mean in? It might mean, because we have dual words where the word fuck can be used in multiple different ways, right? Yep. There are certain words, and twat in this country can be used in don't be a twat. Oh. All right, and that should be don't be stupid. Okay. And twatting someone is hitting someone very fucking hard. Nice. So what does twat mean?
It don't mean that in the States. It means something. It means something completely different. I look, I'm gonna just say this: like, Google Urban Dictionary and type in twat. You'll thank me later, and then you'll.
So is it? You're trying to tell me that?
Twat means something else.
We're talking about a woman who likes to enjoy a lot of men.
Something like that. Yeah.
I've heard the phrase in American movies and stuff, and I was like, pronounce it more like twat, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I've
said because I
say this. Marshawn Lattimore is a twat, but
But we did the same with country crowds. Like, I remember once we were in a game, we were struggling, and one of my players there, he would turn around. It doesn't matter now, guys. We're down. We're fucking out. The game's over. So could you go out there and fucking cunt somebody? And cunt becomes that word that you can just use, like.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Johnny. We appreciate you for verifying what it is in the States. We're nasty over here. Forgive us, Lord. But
it's that too over here. So I think we just have multiple uses for shit language.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I think you say it in the context. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly. Exactly.
She's a twat. Okay, done.
Exactly.
I twatted that guy. Yeah. Exactly. It's a beautiful vibe. But more than anything, glad our Buccaneers sealed the win. It starts us going flowing. The juices are flowing. Hopefully, we won't see too many crazy cuts, because there have been a couple of times where we cut players that people have gone, I don't know
what the hell was that? Yes,
absolutely. I think we're going to do our show. I mean, we'll find. I said to Bucs. I said to Bucs Report. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure you'll agree anyway that we should probably do the show straight after the cuts, so it's live.
Hell yeah! I'm all
whatever the cuts are. I think it's Thursday. I'm not too sure, but we will get live. We'll get our jive on. AJ and me will be breaking it up, and we'll go, oh, that's a good cut, that's a bad cut. Now we don't know. We don't know shit. We don't. We just have our opinion.
Exactly. For all we know, somebody big might get cut. We go, what the hell? It better be an explanation.
Yeah, absolutely. But without further ado, AJ's going to close us down, and I will finish us off.
Yes, sir. Again, Thank you again, Buck fans, for watching Bucks Report, the aftermath. Again, always check us out. You can follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You also can check me out at It's About Bucking Time. That is my personal content. And also, when you check my link, AJ Turn Up, you can get some good merchandise right here like this. It's good stuff. And thank you again. And as always, go Bucks.
Go Bucs, brother. I'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. You take care of yourself.
Hang on, I'll try and get my muscles in. All right, guys, that is the end of the show. So I am back full force. My season is completely ended. Article will be coming out sometime in the coming week, or coming across this week, about my life as a brickball coach and just kind of sharing my experience of being a coach. And obviously, it's going to be very slightly different to what it's like to be an American coach, but just to kind of let you know what we go through, what we're looking at, how we think about things, all that kind of shit. So it's what we do. It's what we want. And of course, we've got the Buccaneers, so I am fully committed to running all my stuff. So Slick Stance is now back on. So this will just be me hearing a bit of Buccaneers news and giving you my most organic answer about how I feel about that. Like, I probably not thought about it too much, so it might be a bit raw. It might be a little bit stupid sometimes, but it is what it is. It's just me talking shit. And then, of course, the aftermath will be on after every single game the following day. Give it the 24 hours, or maybe not the exact 24 hours, but within the time frame of probably 9 o'clock, maybe a little bit earlier, Eastern, we will be giving you our what's the best way of putting this? Our raw thoughts on the game. And then you probably get into pre-game shows where we completely backtrack on what we said or completely affirm it. But we always appreciate you guys coming in and giving your thoughts, your feels about this team. No one's wrong. If you can back it up with facts, even better. If you can't, say, this is how I feel about something. There ain't nothing wrong with it. We all feel something. There are people out there who think we should trade Mike Evans. Those people are strange. Those people are retarded. Yes, that is a banned word, but fuck it. Who gives a shit? We're on after 9, right? But thanks, guys. Much appreciated for joining the show. I will see you all, guys, just on cut day. And go Bucks. Bucks on me. Bucks on free. 1, 2, 3. Go Bucks!